Kansas City for a third straight week has found another way to queef their way to a victory with this very clear no-call pass interference with Chiefs safety Brian Cook hugging Kyle Pitts in the end zone. Brian Cook better hug the fucking refs for bailing them out yet again. You know it's bad when not even Chris Collinsworth could glaze Mahomes and the Chiefs. Even he said, and I quote, "I don't know about that one," which is about as negative as Collinsworth will get towards Kansas City. This Chiefs team reminds me of the 2023 Eagles team where they were winning close games and everyone said, I don't know how long this is going to last. This is going to break at some point, and it did. So watch out, Chiefs fans. As for Travis Bickle Kelsey, this is what happens when you start dating a person who you know will eventually make a song about you when you break up. Travis Kelsey is laying the hammer in bed, but getting hammered on the field. Speaking of getting hammered, the Niners defense seemed drunk off their ass the way that they finished that game. Ronnie Bell, get ready to learn Chinese, bud. Plenty of upset wins this week, and only the Raiders could make a 36-year-old Andy Dalton look like a 43-year-old Tom Brady. Andy Dalton was by far the most popular ginger on Sunday. He threw this incredible touchdown to 34-year-old Adam Thielen. There was a lot of bad football on Sunday, a lot of bad QB play. Skylar Thompson is still somehow finding ways to make an NFL roster, which I just am baffled by. Watching the Dolphins offense put up 3 points with a team like that, with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, is upsetting, to say the least. It just goes to show how important Tua was to that team, and still is. Caleb Williams, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Jalen Hurts, Jacoby Brissett, Skylar Thompson. You name a quarterback, chances are they played like shit on Sunday. Frank from Barstool could have played better, assuming he didn't try and eat the ball. Bo Nix got his first win as a Denver Bronco in convincing fashion, too, against the then undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers, starting 2-0 for the second straight year, until Bo, the show, Nix, came in and looked like the QB of the future. The Broncos went from horsecock lock to Big Dick Nix, who at first glance look like the same person, but the only difference is Drew Lock can freestyle put on by Young Jeezy perfectly. Juwan Jennings looked like prime Calvin Johnson, going for 3 touchdowns and mossing Rams safety Quentin Lake. Our entire team needs to be thrown into a lake with an anvil tied around their feet, more specifically Jake Moody and Ronnie Bell. But I will say Jake Moody has been automatic before that miss, but that miss just so happened to be the most important kick up to this point in the season. For real though, that Jennings catch was the sickest catch I've seen all season and probably will see all season. The 49ers sure have one wide receiver that's playing like they just got paid $30 million a year. And of course, these are all jokes. It's not a slight to Brandon Ayuk, who has gotten more involved over the past 2 weeks. No matter the outcome of the game or a player's performance, I will be red and gold till I'm dead and cold. And I love everybody in the Niners organization, even though we are playing like shit. Our defense looked dead and hot being in Los Angeles, especially after the end of that fourth quarter. So that was a little around the NFL, a little hot storylines. Going to start with the Giants and Browns. Are not really the most exciting of teams, but Malik, the freak, love thy neighbors, looks like a fucking beast. He found the end zone twice on Sunday for the Giants and for my fantasy team as well, which if I did not draft Rashee Rice and Malik Neighbors, I'd be royally fucked. It's not even the first 2 weeks. First 2 weeks I was fine. This week, I would have been royally fucked. Malik Neighbors became the youngest wide receiver in NFL history to catch 2 touchdowns in the same game, and he also became the first player in NFL history to record 20-plus catches, 250-plus receiving yards, and 3 or more touchdowns in his first 3 games. Neighbors is already on an OBJ-level trajectory. Who was the last LSU wide receiver to make insane plays for the New York Giants with his handsome white quarterback who makes faces in the middle of games like he just shit himself? DJ and Leak, man. They're looking like Eli and OBJ. It's only a matter of time until Malik Neighbors is recreating that one-handed catch. And, dude, they play Dallas on Thursday. Primetime, Dallas, Giants. That's how the OBJ catch happened. And in all honesty, that throw down the left sideline against the Cleveland Browns, that was pretty sick. That catch was pretty sick. It was pretty close. He's getting to that point. He's going to... I can see it. DJ throwing down the right sideline against the Cowboys, preferably Trayvon Diggs. Daniel Jones actually looks like a quarterback instead of Santa Claus because all he does is gift turnovers to the opposing team and rips the heart out of Brian Daboll and every Giants fan watching. The last 2 weeks, though, Daniel Jones has actually played pretty well, throwing 2 touchdowns in each game and 0 picks. And he almost won against the Commanders if it wasn't for Graham Cracker Gano hurting himself in pregame warmups, which to this day I will still say I don't even know how that's possible. A strong gust of wind is what I assume. is what caused his injury. New York is no Super Bowl contender, but that defense and Malik Neighbors might be the only reason that they even have a chance at the postseason. Yep, and it's a quick turnaround. Like I said, they play the Cowboys on Thursday night, and all of a sudden, that's a must-win game for both teams. Speaking of Dallas, they were just eliminated from playoff contention on Sunday with a big loss to the Ravens. And I say big loss because even though the scoreboard said 28-25, it really felt like 48-25. The Cowboys D got ran through like a freshman at UCLA, and Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson combined for 238 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns en route to a royal ass whooping in Big D. Prescott just threw the ball way too much. Run game was non-existent. It's been non-existent. Dallas is just a bad football team right now. And my God, nothing, and I mean nothing, makes me happier besides the 49ers winning than seeing Dallas lose and just be miserable. It just brings a joy to my heart. CeeDee Lamb was also nowhere to be found. Just absolutely nowhere. He fumbled one of his only touches on Sunday, and pretty sure he only had like 3 catches. Chargers, Steelers. I can't tell if the Steelers are the worst 3-0 team ever or their defense is just that good. And to be honest, their defense is really that good. And I want you to know, alongside Minnesota, like through the first 3 weeks, they look like a Super Bowl caliber defense. I mean, they are just so well coached under Tomlin. It's been that way for, however many years, but they knew that if they just stayed the course, Justin Fields was an upgrade from Kenny Pickett over the last 2 years. And the Pittsburgh defense has yet to allow over 300 yards of total offense in a game, and they've only allowed 2 offensive touchdowns all season and 26 points total. TJ Watt continues to make his case for the best defensive player in the NFL. Minkah Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Elliott, Joey Porter, Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, Alex Highsmith are all contributing to the big-time success of that defense. And Justin Fields and the Steelers' offense finally found the end zone more than once in a game. It's been going up from week 1, no touchdowns, week 2, 1 touchdown, week 3, 2 touchdowns. I mean, they're going Hall of Fame trajectory. By week 18, they're going to be fucking scoring 25 touchdowns. I really like Pittsburgh this year, man. I think Justin Fields is only going to get better. He finally has a good head coach and a good situation. And, that running game just needs to just get a little more effective because Jaylen Warren is really not the player that we all thought he was going to be. Maybe it's that hamstring. I don't really know. But, Najee Harris isn't the most explosive either. But, hopefully they can find something. And that defense is just going to keep rolling, man. I mean, they're going to be the best in the league, probably, if not top 3. Colts and Bears, holy shit. AR-15 has thrown for 5 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. I don't think that's good. Last time I checked. And Caleb Williams has scrambled a total of 400 miles behind the line of scrimmage since week 1. For a total of 2 touchdowns, may I add, both which came in the same game. Rome wasn't built in a day. Odunze went for $115 and caught Caleb Williams' his first touchdown pass. But Chicago's run game continues to be non-existent and, in fact, the worst in the NFL, it looks like. The fact that this defense is playing as good as they are, despite having arguably the worst offense in football, is seriously impressive. Every time I see Caleb Williams paint his nails, I just think about that meme where the hockey player, I really don't know what team it's for, if it even is NHL, but the hockey player that tells the guy to go dye his hair, which is just like the sickest burn, because it isn't even like an insult, really. It's just telling him to go dye his hair, but deep down what he was saying. And I can guarantee you somebody on the field has said, go paint your nails to Caleb Williams 100%. But again, it's all jokes. I am rooting for Caleb. I love Caleb Williams. It's honestly, every week, even though it's not good, it has gotten better. Vikings and Texans. Sam Darnold is the MVP. Through 3 weeks of the season, Sam Darnold is the MVP. There's just no question. Like, he's playing like a Pro Bowl quarterback. And all that, like, obviously the stats and everything, the situation, but it's more of the fact that he was quite literally cooked. The guy was toast. Just no signs pointed to Sam Darnold making a comeback like this. Like, if you told me like Baker would have done that, like I could have like said, I could see that. Heisman guy, like, took the Browns to the playoffs. Sam Darnold, bro. I mean, that guy had, just some of the worst situations with Adam Gase, but I mean, he looks great, bro. The defense is insane. The Minnesota defense has had at least 5 sacks in every game this season. That's pretty nuts. Only allowed a total of 30 points and beat 2 top-tier offenses back-to-back weeks in Houston and San Francisco. You know, and speaking of Houston, suffering a loss like this, it does suck. You know, it's a hard pill to swallow for D'Amico because they're just so well coached. They don't really have blowout losses like this. But they'll bounce back. You know, it was a tough week. Vikings defense, bro. I mean, outside of Pittsburgh, I mean, they're the best. And Kevin O'Connell, the GOAT, who was on Sunday Conversation with the other GOAT, Caleb Presley. I mean, he might be my coach of the year. I mean, it was Harbaugh. It was Harbaugh. But after seeing that the Vikings are no longer pretenders, I am going to crown Kevin O'Connell as my coach of the year so far. I mean, he's making Sam Darnold. He's making Sam, I'm seeing Ghost Darnold, look like Sam, holy shit, I'm seeing Justin Jefferson and Jalen nail her in bed like just every day of the week now. Jalen Naylor, 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks, won every game. Pretty solid. Aaron Jones looks like, you know, Packers Aaron Jones. He was really good. Didn't lose a step. Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. Bro, I mean, we're looking at a legit team. This isn't like a fluke, like a, you know, they're going to maybe sneak in. Like, nah, man, like they could win the division. Because, I mean, we know the Bears ain't winning it. You know, the Lions don't look as dominant as we thought they would. But as of right now, the Vikings are a playoff team. Quite literally the best team in the league. The Minnesota Vikings are the best team in the league. Just what is going on? What the fuck is going on? Sam Darnold leads the NFL in touchdown passes. Sam Darnold leads the NFL in touchdown passes through 3 weeks with 8. 8 touchdown passes. 2 picks. Not touchdown passes to the other team. Not pick sixes. I can understand how you may think that. You know, you're probably like, oh, you know, you mean touchdown passes to the opposing defense, you know, because Sam Darnold, he sucks ass, right? No. He's quite literally the best quarterback in the NFL right now. So that's the world we live in. And honestly, bro, that's fucking awesome. Good for Sam. Saints-Eagles, what a fucking snooze fest. Holy hell. The Saints came off of a really great game against Dallas. And the week before that, they came off of a really great game against Carolina. And then their offense came back down to earth. And, you know, swiftly came back down to earth against a pissed off Eagles defense who also did not play their best game despite Saquon Barkley having a great game. Their defense as well. And really, the outlier was Jalen Hurts, who once again had a multi-turnover game. It's been a lot of turnovers for Jalen Hurts, you know, dating back to that losing streak last year. The Eagles were as lucky this week as they were unlucky last week. So an eye for an eye as they move to an unconvincing 2-1. Hurts right now is the Achilles heel of that team. I'm going to be honest, he is. Just because of the turnovers. Like, he's played okay. And losing A.J. Brown hurts. But yeah, if he just plays, like, mistake-free. I mean, not even really mistake-free. You're going to have mistakes. But if you just limit the turnovers, it's going to be a whole lot better of a football team. Just straight up. Still think Philly's really good. I mean, obviously, they're really good. Probably going to win that division again. So, yeah. But Saints, too, will be fine. They could have easily won that game, despite, you know, how bad they played. Rashid Shaheed put up a goose egg. Olave kind of had, I mean, he had his best game so far. And the defense, that's another underrated part, just position group or whole unit, I guess you could say, in the league. Saints defense is really good. I mean, like I said this in the last episode, man. Great secondary. So deep in that secondary. Great linebacking core. Really deep up front. Like, they got... And they're well coached. So, and I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to get into it. The 49ers travel to Levi South. 49ers at the Rams. Don't even get me started. 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers blowing a 10-point lead. Joe, shit, must have thought this was the Super Bowl. Blowing a 10-point lead against the Rams, must have thought this was the NFC Championship game. What in God's green earth? We've owned the Rams up until this point. We've brutally beat the Rams convincingly multiple times, even when we weren't even really that good. And this is how you lose? You lose to a team that, I understand the situation. It's an 0-2 team. with a really good head coach and a really good quarterback. They're not going to go 0-3, the whole deal. I get it. I get it. But still, it just doesn't seem right. You know, it's like they had nobody. They were depleted. We at least had our top receiver. That was just embarrassing, man. It was just straight up embarrassing. 21-7 lead and a lead in the fourth quarter. A 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. I mean, just Brock Purdy had a great game. Jawan Jennings had literally the best game I think he'll ever have in his life. I mean, it's just crazy. A fourth quarter collapse like that. Oh, my God. I'm used to it. You know, I'm used to it, bro. 49ers defense sucked complete ass late in the stretch as they let Tutu Atwell, of all people, just burn them over top and burn all-pro Charvarius Ward. And, you know, the 49ers special teams to go along with that is just horrible. I mean, the worst in the league, I'd say. Just so bad. It's so poorly coached. Brian Schneider, got to go. You got a GTFO, my brother. Dude, it's just crazy. It's just insane to come off of a game like that on Monday night when we beat a pretty good Jets team like that, like just brutally beat them. I thought we picked up right where we left off. No big deal. I mean, it just, in the last 2 weeks, bro, have just been just terrible play. Brock Purdy still, you know, playing great. Despite, you know, having a few mistakes in that Minnesota game, has just been lights out, man. He's been lights out. Putting the team on his back. Carrying us. Quite literally carrying us. In that loss on Sunday, Purdy, for the 7th time, has thrown for 3 or more touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the same game for the 7th time since 2022. That's the most out of any quarterback in the entire league since that year. So since coming into the league and making his first start that season, he's led all QBs in that category. And that's that, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, that whole thing of, you know, Purdy needing all the, you know, weapons is just, you know, the stupidest thing ever. And I don't even want to go into it because people who say that just have no idea. Like, they just know nothing about anything. And the defense, bro, just looks like they're giving up. They just looked gassed. We don't look aggressive. You know, there's just no push up front. There's barely any pass rush. I mean, without Nick Bosa, we're fucking screwed. We're just screwed, man. Like, it's just straight up facts. Without Nick and Fred, we would just see such a tremendous fall off. That's how good they are. I mean, they're Hall of Famers. I mean, not only Hall of Famers, but they are like the leaders that this team needs in a time like this and in a game like that. It's just, it's incredible to me, like, how much of an impact they make. And I truly I never really understood, really up until like the end of last year and obviously this year now, how much they mean to our team. Like, they are just the best at their position. There's just no, Fred definitely, you know, Nick you can kind of make an argument for, but Fred 100%. Same thing with Brock, man. If we didn't have Brock, dude, forget it. Those are my MVPs for the Niners first few weeks into the year. It's tough. It's tough seeing the DBs get cooked like that. Huff coming back is definitely a plus, but that was just a all around just collapse. Just a collapse. We're a bad football team right now. We're making the mistakes that bad football teams make. That's just the reality. And, you know, we've been there. I want to remind you, 2-4 start in 2021, we made the NFC Championship game. 3-4 start in 2022, we made the NFC Championship game, and if Brock didn't get hurt, probably would have made the Super Bowl. 3-game losing streak in 2023, made the Super Bowl. And obviously, listen, we don't win the Super Bowl in any of those years, but making the Super Bowl and making the NFC Championship game as much as we have since 2019, so many teams would kill for that. I'm not complaining. It does suck to lose, but I know bigger picture how lucky we are. In the last game, Chiefs and Falcons. I predicted Atlanta to win this game, and they should have. No question about it. Absolutely no question about it. That was pass interference all day, every day. The Chiefs got so fucking lucky once again. And if that was Travis Kelce, you know for a fact he would have gotten that pass interference call. It's fucked up, man. It's so fucked, and it's almost comical. Not almost, actually it is. It is comical. I mean, listen, I hate Dallas. I hate Philly. I hate the Rams. I hate Seattle. But I despise the Chiefs. I despise Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and all their stupid little just glazing from commentators like Tony Romo and Chris Collinsworth, who I genuinely don't know how they don't see what they're doing. They have to be doing that shit on purpose. There's no fucking way in hell. Tony Romo and Chris Collinsworth have to be doing that on purpose. Incredible play by Mahomes right there, and it's just a fucking pass into the ground. What are you? What? Somehow that wasn't even the worst part about that game. That moment came when the fucking Falcons got another opportunity to win the game, and on 4th and inches, they ran an off-tackle run in the wing T formation on 4th and inches. You're making your best player on offense run 10 yards horizontally to pick up inches. Well, that's just Falcons football for you. You can take the Falcons out of 28-3, but you can't take the 28-3 out of the Falcons. Well, you know, that's about all I can muster for today, man. I'm shot. After Sunday, nothing makes sense anymore. Fucking Andy Dalton, bro. That fucking Andy Dalton. All right. That's where my mind's at. All right. So I gotta fucking wrap this up. Monday Night Football doubleheader. You know, we got the Bills and the Jags. Jags looking for their first win. By the time you're watching this game will be over, and I will predict that the Jags will win this game because they need to. Going 0-3 just doesn't sit right with me with Trevor Lawrence, and going 3-0 just doesn't sit right with me with the Bills. I know they are good, but I just can't see them going 3-0 for some reason. But I might eat my words. I'm aware of that because the Bills are really good, but the Jags need this win. You know, I think that they're going to rip it. I think Trevor Lawrence is just going to air that shit out tonight and have a big game. So, and also for the Commies and the Bengals, I mean, I don't even really need to say anything. The Bengals are going to get their first win. They're going to get their first win. They're going to win. They should win convincingly. We'll see, but I think Jamar Chase wakes up. I think Joe Burrow wakes up. Oh, yeah, Will Levis gave us this amazing freeze frame from week 3. I mean, this guy is just on a generational run. I mean, this isn't even... How is it possible every week you find yourself in a situation where you get screenshotted? It's crazy. He's definitely going to keep doing this. Hackers got the sack on Will Levis and a player's balls rubbed on his head. At least he wasn't on his knees this time. And those weren't the only balls that Will Levis couldn't handle that game. He, yet again, turned the ball over multiple times, and he has a total of 8 turnovers, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, the Titans are the worst team in football. I'm still a Niner fan, unfortunately. Monday Night Football just started, and I'm starving. I'm going to go get a burger or something. Thanks for watching. Gabagool, bada bing, baba booey. Follow the Deep on Instagram, your sister's ass. I'll see ya.